Welcome to this explainer. If you're a new counselor, you probably know the feeling all too well. Sitting across from a client can sometimes feel like you're trying to defuse a bomb completely blindfolded. You are terrified of saying the wrong thing. So today, we're jumping straight into one of the absolute highest stress clinical scenarios you're going to face. We're talking about that exact moment a session just totally derails, and we'll break down the precise verbal tool you need to fix it.
Section 1. The Quit Smoking Trap.
Okay, picture this. You've got your client sitting right across from you. They shift in their chair, they look down, and they deliver this exact sentence. I know I should quit smoking, but I'm not ready to quit smoking. Oof. Hearing that creates an immediate spike in tension, doesn't it? You're hearing two completely opposing ideas in the exact same breath. It feels like a massive roadblock, a contradiction that you just absolutely have to solve right this very second.
And because of that tension, your natural impulse as a counselor kicks in. It's what we call the writing reflex. You lean forward, you've got this urgency in your voice, and you say, well, which is it? Do you want to quit or not? You jump right in. You try to force a choice because you just want to fix the contradiction so you can finally get to work on the actual treatment plan.
But look at what actually happens. The client completely shuts down. By treating their conflicting feelings like a puzzle that needs to be solved, you've instantly killed the rapport. The client feels interrogated. They feel cornered, and honestly, a bit judged. So they retreat. The session stalls out, and you're left sitting there wondering why your perfectly logical question just destroyed the momentum of the entire session.
Section 2. The Double-Sided Reflection.
Let's rewind the tape. We're putting you back in that exact same chair to see how holding up a mirror totally changes the trajectory of the session. Notice the contrast here. Pushing for a choice, that creates discord. The alternative is simply naming both sides out loud. Instead of arguing with the client or forcing them to defend one side, your job is to just hold both realities up like a mirror with zero judgment whatsoever.
The exact phrasing you need here relies on a super simple formula you can just memorize. It goes like this: on one hand and on the other hand. So when that client says they should quit but aren't ready, you just calmly reply, on one hand, you know you should quit smoking, and on the other hand, you are just not ready yet. That's it. No advice, no probing questions. You literally just capture their internal tug-of-war perfectly.
And the result? The client actually keeps talking. Because you didn't back them into a corner, their defenses just drop. They feel deeply heard. Often they'll nod and say something like, yeah, exactly. It's just that I've been so stressed lately. They stay engaged. You've given them a safe space to explore their own conflict, instead of forcing them to fight you.
Section 3, Round 2, Another Client.
Let's dive into this again and test this technique on another simulated scenario. This one is a slightly more complex setup. You've got a client who wants to quit smoking marijuana. They have a really strong motivation. They fear the secondhand smoke is worsening their daughter's asthma. But there is a massive social barrier. Literally all of their friends smoke pot.
The client looks at you. They're clearly distressed and they say, I'd like to quit so the smoke won't worsen my daughter's asthma. But I can't. All my friends smoke. Listen to that heavy internal conflict. They desperately want to be a protective parent, but they are also absolutely terrified of losing their entire social circle and feeling alienated. Both of those feelings are entirely real to them.
So how do we respond this time? The aggressive writing reflex screams, but you have to protect your daughter. Boom, you just shamed the client. Instead, use the double-sided reflection. You say, you enjoy your friends and you want to protect your daughter. Did you catch the magic word there? And. You do not use but. But acts like an eraser for whatever came before it. And validates both realities equally. You are showing the client it's completely okay to feel both of these things at the exact same time. Section 4. Understanding ambivalence. Now that you've seen this technique work twice in our simulations, we really need to pull back the curtain. Why does the double-sided reflection work like magic? Well, it all comes down to the underlying psychology of change. What we've been observing in both of these clients is a core concept in motivational interviewing called ambivalence. Ambivalence is simply feeling two ways about making an important change. It's that tense, super uncomfortable space where a person is fully aware of the risks of their behavior, but they still feel deeply attached to the behavior itself. Every new counselor absolutely needs to internalize this next point. Ambivalence is completely normal. It's expected. It is not a sign of resistance, and it is definitely not a lack of motivation.
When your client sounds contradictory, it doesn't mean they're trying to be difficult. They are exactly where they are supposed to be in the change process. They're just temporarily stuck in the contemplation stage.
Section 5. Why pushing backfires.
Let's break down the psychological trap of why demanding a choice always fails. Think of ambivalence as two distinct voices fighting inside the client's head. One is sustained talk. These are all the client's internal arguments for maintaining the status quo, for staying exactly the same. The other is change talk, and those are their internal arguments in favor of changing. As a counselor, your ultimate goal is to gently amplify that change talk.
But here is the massive psychological trap, and it's literally a basic rule of human nature. If you, the counselor, take it upon yourself to argue the change side, like if you tell them why they need to quit or how bad the behavior is for them, the client is automatically forced to take the other side of the argument. If you argue for change, they will argue to stay the same. You literally force them to voice their sustained talk, which just digs them even deeper into their current behavior.
The reality here is that direct, forceful, or confrontational approaches are incredibly counterproductive. When you confront a client's ambivalence head-on, you actually increase their defensiveness and significantly decrease the likelihood of change. It's crazy, but you accidentally manufacture the exact resistance you were trying to cure in the first place.
Section 6. Try this tomorrow.
Let's wrap this up with a highly actionable takeaway you can apply to the very next client who sits across from you. Here's your 3-step mechanical guide to delivering a flawless, double-sided reflection tomorrow. Step 1. Listen carefully for both voices, the sustained talk and the change talk. Step 2. Use the word "and" to connect those two thoughts, holding them both without an ounce of judgment. And Step 3. This is the absolute secret weapon. Always end your sentence on the change side. For example, it's hard to imagine life without drinking, and you recognize that it's time to stop. Ending on the change talk leaves that positive thought echoing in the room, making it the most natural jumping-off point for whatever the client says next.
So, as you prep for your next session, I really want to leave you with this final thought to ponder. If you stop fighting your client's ambivalence, if you just put down your writing reflex and simply hold up that mirror, what will your client actually say when they finally feel heard instead of cornered? Trust the process, trust the reflection, and just watch their own motivation come to life. Thanks so much for joining me in this explainer, and I'll see you next time.